Hi, Alan. Namaste. Bonjour to everyone. And on behalf of all the speakers, I welcome the audience for joining us at our event, 5G Monetization, where we discuss how we build ecosystems of the future. This event is brought to you by Technotree Corporation. Our mission and aim is to empower digitally connected communities across the globe. This conversation becomes critically important for communication service providers as they're pinning their hopes on future revenue by investing in their current connectivity businesses and open API frameworks to offer multi-experience services through pre-integrated partners across a digital ecosystem. The digital ecosystem helps unlock B2B, B2C, and B2B2X revenue models that are critical for standalone 5G monetization. It leverages on 5G, IoT, edge computing, AI, and other emerging technologies. CSPs need to think beyond specific verticals and have strategic advantage to facilitate digital ecosystems on a national and hyper-local scale, allowing them to provide new services to boost top-line revenue through strategies of collaboration, co-opetition, and symbiosis within the digital ecosystem. Once again, welcome everyone to our event. We have three streams that focus on different areas of conversation where we hear from both ends of the spectrum, OTTs as well as telcos. First, we try to understand how to harness the power of data in an ecosystem, and we hear from Priya Thakur, Managing Executive Digital Channels, Vodacom South Africa, and Elaine Maini, Head of Tech, Media, Telecom, and Professional Services from Facebook Meta. In our second stream, we try to understand how bringing product and partner ecosystems closer together help unlock the full value to maximize 5G revenue. And we hear from Mustafa Al-Sayed, Head of Mobility Products, Do Telecom, and Shireen Magora, Strategic Partnerships Director, TikTok. In our last stream, we try to map the enablers of an agile digital fintech ecosystem that drives partner growth. Here's where the magic happens. Emerging technologies meet emerging markets. And we have FinServe, an African bank that has adopted a spectrum license. We have Lamre Damisebi, Managing Director, FinServe Africa. And we have Tulisindo Rashid, Head of M-Pesa Marketing, Business Development, Vodacom Tanzania. Once again, welcome to all the speakers. Thank you for being here. This event would not have been possible without you. So on behalf of the audience, welcome, and let's have a great event. We will slowly unlock the value proposition of a digital partner ecosystem through a moment's overview and end with a short Q&A session where we encourage the audience to participate. Please send in your questions in advance so that during the streams we can streamline and shortlist questions, and we will try to ensure that we answer as many questions as possible. Before we get into the streams, I'd like to invite Jyoti Desai, Vice Chairman of Technotree OYJ Corporation, who has extensive experience at C-level positions across the telecom industry and financial services industry. She'll give us an overview of the foundations of 5G monetization and how to unlock the B2B2X ecosystem play. Thanks, Jyoti, for being here. Over to you.
Thank you, Priyanka. Good day, everyone. I am extremely happy to be part of the session today. I think we have no doubt that 5G promises a superior broadband experience with ultra-high reliability, low latency, and massive scalability. This will enable a wide range of new use cases that can be monetized. CSPs have a huge opportunity to create new bundled products and solutions for the B2B2C market, assembled with the help of partners. Of course, the biggest benefit of this model is the CSP's ability to participate in value chains and ecosystems that are orchestrated jointly with partners. CSPs, I believe, will increasingly use partners to extend own capabilities across product co-creation and innovation, marketing and sales, delivery, and customer support. Over and above focusing on being connectivity providers, CSPs will evolve towards becoming service enablers and partner with businesses, developers, and other players across different domains and industries in order to create a unique 5G service offering to differentiate themselves in the market. To find success in the 5G era, CSPs will maintain an ecosystem of partners that allows them to innovate and expand their reach across multiple industry verticals. Many of the 5G enterprise use cases are centered around a CSP's ability to collaborate and co-innovate within partner ecosystems. An effective partner ecosystem can help CSPs close capability gaps, accelerate innovation, and allow them to better support the customers' growing needs with more comprehensive solutions which utilize the power of 5G together with other advanced technologies such as cloud, IoT, AI, and more. In this way, CSPs will create a win-win business model for all players in the value chain. B2B2X models can offer the biggest opportunities for 5G monetization. 5G offers CSPs an opportunity to deliver enhanced enterprise services. B2B models, in my view, will present CSPs with a relatively much larger opportunity to monetize 5G than B2C business models. 5G monetization, of course, requires platforms to be able to support complex partnership models from the outset. With 5G services will come more complex business models, extending across multiple value chains, a scale larger than anything the industry has witnessed so far. There are hundreds of potential new use cases. Some of these use cases may look very small when we consider them in isolation, but together they could change the scale and possibly the nature of the telecommunications business. Using a partnership model, CSPs can focus more on developing their own capabilities that help them and their partners monetize customers directly or indirectly and enhance the value of existing services rather than the historical model of pre-selecting services or applications. A dynamic partner strategy can provide a platform on which solution providers, regardless of size, can be onboarded as quickly as a CSP partner. Automation of the onboarding phase can help reduce time to market, and the platform should also provide a unified product catalog in which partners can make their services available, and from which they can use the CSPs and other partner services already in the catalog to develop unique service bundles. Such partnerships may not always require CSPs to invest in becoming a specialist in each vertical they wish to support, but because they are able to serve multiple industries at once through the partnership model, they can create a revenue stream that is much wider than if they were to focus only on a few verticals. It is my opinion that this model is already starting to take shape and form in various markets and will continue to grow as 5G matures. Thank you, Priyanka.
Thank you, Jyoti. That was really insightful, and it'll be interesting to see how CSPs move along to curate this digital ecosystem of partners to unlock the maximum amount of revenue, both globally as well as locally across the market. So let's dive into our first stream. Thank you, Priya and Alain. Welcome. So to Priya, up until now, the model of engagement between OTTs and telcos have been quite transactional in nature, focused on awareness building, marketing, data bundling. But in the era of the win-win partnership construct model, a more integrated approach is required to help unlock 5G monetization strategies of the future, given the demand for multi-experiences like AR, VR, IoT, etc. So how do you see this strategic partnership and value proposition evolving between OTTs and telcos to enable commercialization, digital experience for the customer? And what are the new frontiers of collaboration that we would be close to seeing in the short term and long term?
Sure, thanks, Priyanka, and hi, everyone. Look, in my view, and I think you've raised it really well, right, Priyanka, the relationship has been transactional in that case, but I mean, the OTTs have done an exceptional job in helping in terms of infrastructure, providing more support in terms of underground, cables and that access, right? Because ultimately, in emerging markets and the likes of Africa, we still need to consider and think about, affordability, access, some of the basic hygiene factors in terms of how we actually get people to even start using data or get access to even a smartphone in some cases, right? So I think in that context, there's been a lot of support, there's been a lot of, collaboration and work happening. And in my view, I think, we do need to now take it to the next level, right? So co-product development as an example where, as Jyoti also mentioned, there's a ton of use cases, right? We could probably off the bat think of like hundreds of things that would be really interesting to start working on. But how do you actually translate that to a practical, quick, product development? How long does it even take in terms of getting stuff like that into the market, testing, learning, bring it back and iterating, right? So I think across both the telco space as well as the OTT space, we probably need a lot more of that integrated type of co-product development, and certainly at a local level, right? So, a market even within the sub-Saharan African region, like South Africa, as compared to a Kenya, Tanzania, very different. There's some things that work really well because of the cultural framework of mobile money adoption that works well in those markets, and it just does not translate into the South African market, right? And there's tons of examples where we can share that, which has worked in South Africa as an example, and won't just port. But ultimately, you do need, strong tech that underpins some of the stuff that gets eventually built, all of these products and essentially the use cases that we'd look to drive that obviously leverages 5G and all of the awesome things that we can actually do with that.
Right, and that's really interesting. So what I'm hearing you say is product ecosystem enablement to ensure that you facilitate channel delivery, right?
Absolutely.
And then adding another layer at a local level in specific markets to tailor the specific kinds of products you take to market, the specific types of partners maybe that you take to certain markets. How do you get more and more specific to the market demand? I think that's a really strong point. Elaine, we'd like to hear from you. Facebook has recently rebranded itself into Meta, of course, to focus on new business innovation models in the metaverse of digital experiences. So it would be interesting to know what are the strategic partnership value propositions that you see an OTT like Meta can offer to telcos in the spheres of commercialization, connectivity, and business innovation.
Thanks, Priyanka, and hi, everyone. Indeed, just a few weeks ago, Mark Zuckerberg laid out our new vision for the metaverse, which is the successor of the mobile internet. And we changed our company name to reflect this new vision. We are now Meta. People will take time to get used to that. We believe telcos will continue to play a very big role in enabling our new vision and these efforts and this new computing platform, with connectivity being at the core. We do continue to double down on connectivity efforts with telcos. I think Priya referred to some of these efforts. Take 2Africa, for example. It's the largest subsea cable project in the world. It's connecting 26 countries around Africa and the Middle East and Europe as well. And we're doing that in partnership with the telcos. So with that in mind, we don't really view our relationship with telcos as being a typical OTT operator setup. We view it as a strategic partnerships, and we can bucket our collaboration under 3 main areas: commercial partnerships, network partnerships, and digital innovations, general digital innovations related to AR and VR and so on. I'll double click briefly on the commercial front. In essence, we are helping telcos address the customer life cycle throughout the different stages, from marketing, but also to onboard customers, improve the customer experience, retain subscribers, and so on. In essence, we're putting their CVM on steroids at the scale of the Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and Messenger platforms. And that's done through insights. We can help telcos identify key customer segments through network data and through a set of anonymized and aggregated data, as well as prediction models. And these segments can be anything from a subscriber, non-subscriber, potential churner, heavy video or data user. So we really bring these micro segments into play. We make them available for activation through solutions. And second point is solutions. These could be either programs like zero rating programs, or even upselling programs. So when a customer is low on data, we can help the telcos identify the customer and upsell them. We even have personalized ads at scale. So there's the program, but there's also the paid media side of it. And finally, we're providing channels as well. These could be WhatsApp or Messenger, where the customer can engage with the telco brand for customer service or for transaction purposes. And even Mobile Center, which is a native experience within Facebook and within Instagram, where the customer can access very easily and check their accounts and transact, check their telco accounts and transact accordingly. So, to bring all of this together in a typical use case, think of let's say we've identified a group of customers who are potential churners and are running low on data, we can show them a very personalized ad, or we can, through programs, essentially redirect them, let's say, to a WhatsApp conversation where they can renew or see a personalized offer. So that really helps take the CVM to the next level. I hope this sheds some light a little bit on broadly on our relationship with the telcos, and more specifically in our value proposition for the commercial side.
Yeah, absolutely. I do see a product angle creeping in as well beyond the marketing angle. So there is definitely a play there. And what I'm hearing is customer first, both in terms of acquisition, maintaining the customer, managing their subscriptions, as well as offering support, right? The first instance of customer support being on an OTT channel. So I think that's quite powerful as well. Let's thank you so much, Elaine and Priya. We'll move on to the next stream. But before we move to the next stream, I'd like to take a poll question at this stage, hear from our audience a little bit about what they think. And based on the views that have been shared so far, what partnerships do you believe will help maximize revenue for 5G and current content monetization? Can we have that poll question come up? All right. Okay, great. I think we have a very, very aligned audience today. So everybody is here for the right reasons. Then let's quickly move on to the next stream. So for our next stream, we'll be looking at how deeper collaborations between OTTs and telcos can unlock the true value of a B2B2X ecosystem and maximize 5G revenue. So welcome, Mustafa and Shireen. Thank you so much for being here today. Mustafa, let's circle back to that poll question. What do you think about the audience's opinion, and do you have any comments on the right kind of partnership models that work to help maximize 5G revenue?
Hello, everyone. Actually, thank you for having me here, and thank you for everyone. Actually, I think for telecom especially, 5G first. The 5G in the Gulf region, it's different from Europe and US, and different how the customer and how the telecom operator are perceived. We believe in the Middle East that the 5G is one of the granted service or technology that all the customers should have, while we believe that the monetization of the 5G in a different country is started before us and is a little bit higher than what we have in all operator in the Gulf region. This is number one. For telecom, number two, I don't think the telecom now will be sustainable by selling data and voice and telecom service and fixed line and internet anymore. Otherwise, we will keep just competing on price. And when we start competing in price, means there is quite absence of value or absence of technology, and it will be a price war between the competitors, and maybe it will be from the price perspective in the benefit of the customer, but it will never be from the technology perspective and customer experience in the benefit of anyone, and even from the monetization of the service and technology. So we believe that we have quite some experience between the telecom and OTT service, with currently with Netflix, with Amazon, with PN Sport as well, in order to bundle some OTT services with our data and voice and telecom service. The purpose of this is a win-win between us and between the OTT providers, in a simple way, how to use the non-telco service or the non-telco technology in order to monetize and increase the revenue in the telco technology. So we open the market for the OTT provider through purchasing maybe 50K or 100K license of subscription. We add it to our bundle and we promote it to the customer for the benefit of the customer, instead of the customer buy this service or this Netflix or whatever standalone. As long as Shireen is here as well, so we had a previous discussion, high-level discussion before with TikTok, but we think that this discussion is not matured as of now. And I believe that as a benefit out of this event, that we need to take this discussion forward in order to enhance the partnership between Do and TikTok as well. Yeah, from the ecosystem, and I think how it should work, I think that we need to have a lot of proposition related to the 5G standalone, related to the VR, related to the speed booster, because as I started, the 5G in UAE especially is granted for everyone. If I have mobile 5G, I can use 5G, but the difference will be in the quality in order to increase the monetization of 5G. So the quality here is, for example, I'm sitting in UAE and I want to watch match between Barcelona and Real Madrid in Spain, or I want to watch gaming through a VR, or I want to be on somewhere else, or I want to have a video with high definition. So this kind of quality and speed boosters can be introduced with a special price with 5G standalone through our digital channels with a cooperation with our OTT partner in order to provide real-time service and technology for our customers.
Absolutely. I think those are all very, very fair points that you made. It's not just connectivity. Connectivity enables different kinds of user experiences and usability. It's also not race to the bottom pricing strategies that you see in the market, the competition and the co-opetition markets of today. That does not actually facilitate the best kind of services to the end customer. And then what I hear from you is that you also need that experience layer, and that experience layer partnership becomes quite critical and close to home, when certain things like network and usability are given in certain markets, right?
Absolutely.
Like the UAE. So Shireen, I hope you look forward to taking this event forward even after, the partnership forward even after the event. TikTok's model of engagement is definitely unique, right? 1 billion monthly active subscribers outside China and India, with an AI recommendation engine paired with large-scale distribution partnerships. Your vision is big as a company. ByteDance aims to promote user-generated content, which can be monetized through their channels in different forms. You represent different kinds of lifestyle verticals, music, video, gaming, and now recently AR, VR content to create lifelike experiences. So can you shed some light on what are these opportunities for enablement? It was almost like Mustafa was asking you this question himself. So we'd really like to hear your views on this.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me in this interesting panel of discussion. At TikTok, let's talk just about TikTok today, because as you say, it's we have a big vision in a very rich region. So to start with TikTok, we have two promises. The B2C promise is to enrich lives and bring joy to everyone. And from a B2B perspective, talking today just on a telco scale, we say we are the perfect ally, because we are the right tool to acquire new user, for user retention, for ARPU increase, and all what a telco is looking for. So, and in order to do that, I always invite my partners to consider TikTok a tool, a channel to connection to the user. And by considering this point of view, a telco can definitely create new bundles, create new services, segment more and target a different segment of users, introduce new services. And if we want to talk specifically on 5G, we can scale it definitely in the region, but we recently launched in Canada with Bell a 5G paintbrush exclusively for 5G users. It's an AR paintbrush that it's so cool that you can start painting on your TikTok in a one room, and the other person in a different city on his phone. It's a really cool experience. I invite everybody to go and look for the 5G paintbrush with TikTok. You can definitely see the demo video on that. So what I want to say is we are the tool, we are the window in everyone's hand. How can we, as a telco, from this perspective, use this window to push content, responsible educational content, invite new user, acquire them, suggest new streaming events? I mean, the sky is the limit. So we are totally open for this kind of partnership for sure.
That's great to hear. I think what we hear from you is that you're definitely ready for this, especially in regions where 5G has already stabilized itself as a standalone service. I think that's quite encouraging and promising to hear. Thank you, Cherie. Look forward to being in touch after this event as well.
Yes.
Yes, we move quickly into the next stream, just in the interest of time. We all know that one of the biggest requirements for unlocking a B2B2X ecosystem play is going to be a payment ecosystem and a payment interface. So both banks and CSPs through their digital wallet products are important players in the payment ecosystem space. And gone are the days where carrier billing alone is sufficient to enable different kinds of adoption across various levels of ARPU in the market. So how these players integrate into the B2B2X and 5G monetization models will be a key driver for growth. And we're very happy to note that Africa has led the way almost with respect to this fintech innovation. We see huge opportunity to enable digital commerce ecosystem in emerging economies and other parts of the world as well. So welcome to Lucindo, Rashid, and Lamre Bemesebi. FinServe is a bank that has enabled itself with a spectrum license to offer different kinds of payment methodologies. And Empire is a leading, it's a product from Vodacom Group, which is a leading financial services player in the market. So I'd like to hear your views on what is the fintech model of the future that will work? How do you enable this collaboration, co-opetition, and symbiosis in the market? And I know both of you have divergent experiences on the same topic. So let's hear from Lucindo first. How do you see this ecosystem evolving?
Yeah, so thank you very much. Yeah, so I think basically is to look at the where we are today in terms of the strength of fintech. For example, M-Pesa. I think today what we have first is a huge customer base. We have a lot of customers today. In terms of the platform, yes, we have a very scalable platform, and the culture is very agile. We can make changes quickly. So that's the situation that we're having today. So, and what we're offering today is a very basic payment, just transfers, bill payment, just money movement. What we see as a future is for us to provide the advanced use case. And this can be achieved by having a partnership with different businesses and try to go beyond payment. So I can give one example, the recent development in Tanzania. M-Pesa Tanzania been able to enter partnership with 10 insurance companies in Tanzania to be able to offer insurance products to the customers. So what does it mean? So traditional now, fintech, we benefit from transaction fees when customers are doing P2P or doing bill payment. So I think this is the first time now customers can purchase insurance straight from M-Pesa. And what does it mean now from an M-Pesa perspective is basically the new revenue streams. From a customer perspective, it's very convenient. You don't need to go to the bank or to the underwriter office for you to be able to get insurance. So everyone is happy. The customer is happy. Vodacom, the fintech, is also happy, and the underwriters, because for them, they're still very limited. They don't have a lot of customers. But right now, with this kind of partnership, now they can reach out to our 13 million customers, which are already using M-Pesa platform. So I believe the future model is really on a partnership, trying to go beyond payment. It can be on a health sector. It can be a partnership with the government or with the traditional bank. Yeah, so I believe that's the direction for the fintech going forward.
Great. Lamre, thank you so much, Tilisindo. Lamre, I know you have a lot of experience in this area as well. Looking at companies like M-Pesa who have ventured deeply into the financial sector's market and offering different kinds of flexible payment opportunities, where do you see the ecosystem play for FinServe and other markets that you're looking at?
Right, thank you very much, Priyanka. And members of the panel, it's very good to meet most of you. We start by just giving a brief define of B2B to X. So basically it's a new business model in which the telco service provider can actually give services across the board, across different value chain. And FinServe is very peculiar, actually. We are a tech company, a big tech company. And we have a bank that supports us. That's like the second or the largest bank in East and Central Africa, Equity Bank. And we also have MVNO. So that means we also sit as a telecom because we ride on the network of telecom providers. So we pretty much cover it up in terms of the fintech, the bank, and also the telecom rail. Now, why do we need to do this? Because the way the demographic is, the banking is catching up to the telco, because most people have mobile phone, but not all of them have a mobile account. So what we've been able to do is to turn the mobile phone into money. So your phone number becomes like your account number, and we've been able to do that with a product called Equitel. It's a mobile product, and it also a transactional solution system. So basically, that's what we've been able to do. The other thing that we've been able to do with FinServe is to also do a lot around open API, selling banking services as an API. This has actually taken a lot of traction because we've come to know that banking is not necessarily a place you go, but something that you do. So what we're doing is we are moving those things that you do to our customers in the front line. Now, back to your questions. There are different ways that this collaboration can happen between all this, the fintech, the telco, and the banks. One is around transportation and mobility. A telecom can provide service in the entire value chain, from connectivity to vehicle integration, telematic on a single platform. Right, that is one very good use case. Another one is healthcare. I think Rashid mentioned this. Telco can provide a telemedicine solution for monitoring and analyzing platform for people with implant. For example, if you have cardiac management device, right? So that's another very good use case. Another one is around e-commerce. We can't overemphasize the importance of e-commerce. Telco can provide. Telecom providers have developed e-commerce solutions for end users to simply tap and pay while providing mobile services. So these are some of the very good use cases. One of the use cases I've always loved about 5G, unfortunately, in terms of spread, we have not really gotten there in Africa because right now I think the Asia Pacific have about 212 million users as of 2020, and then there's a projection that 5G will hit about 1 billion in 2022, right? So one of the things that actually I'm looking forward to is how we'll be able to use 5G in our daily life. So I think of a good scenario where you have your traffic system, right? And today, traffic systems they are not very smart. So you can imagine when the car has a sensor that can pass information to the traffic system, and you will have a world where there will be no traffic, and we can all go smoothly. And you can imagine that with the airplane as well. It will probably be, you probably won't have air crashes anymore. So the future is very bright for all the parties. But the most important thing is, there need to be partnership, there need to be collaboration, there need to be trust, because right now you find out that most of the OTTs, there is very little, there is no interoperability between them. So for example, you can't be using WhatsApp, or maybe you're using Zoom and you want to call in on Teams, or you're using WhatsApp and you want to call in on Skype. So there's no interoperability. Until those things start to happen and there's interoperability, then the partnership begins to foster. And the person that actually gains will be the consumers and the company as well, because they'll be able to make more revenue for themselves. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think your last point especially was really important. I think convergence, has been the name of the game for fintech across OTT, telco channels, and I think what you've been able to achieve, both Vodacom and FinServe, in such a short period of time across these convergent channels is quite immense. But then I hear you saying there's always room for more convergence on the partnership ecosystem model, especially with respect to OTTs. And telco product and partner ecosystems. So I think that's the perfect note to move to the next segment. Thank you all our speakers who participated in the streams. I think you've done a fair job. And just to summarize, I think the value proposition that everyone has talked about is the key to unlocking revenue for B2B to X monetization is digital partnerships. And how are you going to build out that digital partner ecosystem that's flexible, that's easy to integrate with, that allows you to launch services quickly to market, test, go back, complete the product market fit in a very automated sort of way, and then launch new services on repeat as you learn. And also target customers across different kinds of channels, right? It doesn't matter whether they're using TikTok or SMS or IOBA or any other kind of telco or non-telco OTT channels. So I think that's the perfect point to introduce Technotree Moments. So Technotree Moments integrates partner ecosystems with digital channel ecosystems. We have a pre-integrated set of partners today. The content is live. You can view that on moments.technotree.com and see what kind of pre-integrated sectors we have available as live content on our ecosystem. So this is just based on an open API integration that you could sort of enable into your own channel or ecosystem. We see the telco and OTT players as both a channel to market as well as a partner for product bundling. So we have partner products, we have telco products for connectivity, and then, like we've heard from Elaine and Shireen, there are also specific OTT product offerings that can be enabled for customer support, for customer onboarding, customer management. So I think some specific set of OTT-based product offerings for customers and enterprises become very key. I think healthcare was talked about. Technotree Moments has integrated B2B and B2B to X use cases across the healthcare industry that integrate customized applications and devices. This is just a teaser. If you'd like to know more, we can definitely reach out. You can reach out to us and we'd be happy to share that information with you. But the idea is that the current ecosystem that we have has to grow into a larger digital ecosystem targeted specifically towards 5G monetization across different kinds of channels. So we have connectivity channels that could be purely telco. We could have OTT or experience channels that are pure OTT. They could be hybrid between OTT and telcos together that create a huge subscriber base of customers. And the idea is the Technotree Moments platform sits right between the two. It's an open API microservices enabled B2B to X ecosystem of products, content, and micro apps, which enables telcos and OTTs to launch services faster to market. We have a personalized campaign engine that helps in the targeting and retargeting of customers across different kinds of segments. They could be high ARPU customers in a CSP ecosystem. They could be travelers or gamers or students in an OTT ecosystem. We would help facilitate understanding, how users consume data through their devices, what kind of content they have, and then using that kind of existing subscription data, using telemetry and analytics to further refine the bundles in terms of prices and offerings and extensions that we could create on top of the existing offerings. And of course, an important aspect of that is definitely, the payments interface, right? And we have flexible payment opportunities in the Moments ecosystem. We have airtime billing. We have our own loyalty in terms of Mementos is our own token. The Mementos token enables exchange of partner value based on the validity of loyalty that the partners are able to provide in an ecosystem. So you can upscale your loyalty through Mementos program. And then we have so many other kinds of digital payments. We have our own digital intelligent wallet that can be enabled to facilitate this kind of ecosystem as well. But the most important aspect of the Technotree Moments platform, one of the most important aspects, apart from the product ecosystem, the flexibility and the ease of integration, is also the curation of the partners and how we go about doing that. So I have a sort of surprise, guest. We have a local content provider who's a young content owner, just about 2.5 years old. They have a meager following of around 12.5 million compared to their competitors, T-Series and Sony. But they have a massive view count of around 3 billion views just across 14 songs that they own today. And they have actually been able to take over 1% of the Indian market share on Bollywood music. So I would like to invite the CEO of Desi Melodies, Mr. Avadh Nagpal. Thank you for joining us today. It's immense what you've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. You're not backed by any of the big names. You broke away. So what is the success? Do you attribute your success to OTT channels? Do you attribute your success in penetration to the local chord? How do you define your success as a content?
As a team, we are content creators. We actually worked for a lot of different labels, and when we kind of got done with the operations of how everything was flowing in the Indian music market, we kind of started our own label. With that, what we tried to do is we tried to strike a local chord with a regional market, that is the Punjabi music scene, which was actually at the time blowing up, and with keeping the folk compositions intact, keeping the lyrics very simple, very folkish, but took the music to and the production to the next level. And today we have on YouTube, we have about 3.5 billion views combined. And on streaming, we have about 2 billion streams. So I would actually give a lot of success. I'd like to part our success with the OTT platforms here locally in India that helped us and navigate the path and make us reach here.
Absolutely. Congratulations to being the #1 song on Apple Music in India. Just after 2 weeks of launching your song, Bijli Bijli, done so well.
We actually broke into the viral top 50 global today. So our team's really excited. This is the first Indian song that's actually been broken globally, and it's being appreciated. It's our 15th song. So we're as a team, we're very small and we're very young. And seeing these numbers and seeing these, it's unreal for us.
Absolutely. And the Indian diaspora spreads across not just India, but Middle East, Africa, and other geographies all around the world. So how do you think these kinds of partnership models, from what you've heard, will help you target your local diaspora across these different geographies?
When it comes to the Technotree Moments platform, also can enable it can increase consumption for us. If you target, if you have the access to the data from telecom providers of the consumption patterns, and if you can bundle that with the content that we are providing, I think we can see a massive growth in consumption of content.
Right, and you're working on some new products, right, where you can, bundle content with devices and have more shared experiences for the new 5G and music revolution that's coming up. So can you share? I know this is probably confidential, but can you share a little bit of on what you're doing in that space?
To be honest, I think right now it's very nascent and it's very in the research and development phase. But yeah, in the next 6 to 12 months, we're planning to roll out some products that have pre-built, the capacity to consume content, maybe like speakers, headphones, and all these things, which we'll roll out in the market in the next few months, with the option of the internet they have, and they'll directly be able to stream our content from that from that device itself. So I'm sorry, but I can't share too many.
Perfect. Yeah. No, that's helpful. Thank you so much, Awad, for sharing your thoughts with us. And it's really great that you could be here today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we can move on, I think, to the questions. I think there are a few questions. Maybe, Priya, I'd like to ask you, how would an operator blitz scale acquisition using such strategic partnerships? Where do you think the opportunity lies? What digitalization aspects must be considered for those kinds of partnerships?
Blitz scale acquisition. Look, there's probably a few things that that a telco could look at, and I mean jointly, if we think of it in the context of a partnership. Loyalty, I mean, I think you've also shared that in terms of some of the propositions that you're offering to your platforms, right? But, you think of retail and some of the other sectors and sort of the next tiers and steps that they typically evolve towards, and loyalty is one of them. That is something that, look, it's less about acquisition, but really about retention and how do you actually get more of that, engagement, activation, and more sort of monetization out of your base. If we think about, pure just acquisition, I mean, there's sorry, I don't know if my line went off there.
You're audible.
Probably, okay, gotcha, thanks. So yeah, I think, it's case by case, right? I mean, we all, the OTT, telco, everybody is driving and looking for acquisition, right? So, at times it does come down to sort of some of the basics in terms of, pricing, access, getting to that like niche in terms of segments and multiple niches essentially. So your customer better, you can talk, more about more relevant propositions and really drive that at scale, right? So, I mean, some of the things that, we did, just a quick example, when we launched a couple of propositions recently in terms of campaigns. We bundled our summer campaign, which is a massive event for us within the South African market. But we timed it perfectly when we were about to launch our loyalty program, right? And everything tied up. So the reward, incentives, behaviors, all of the elements that were key to driving both the loyalty program and uptake and opt-ins, together with what we were trying to do around acquisition, together with how we leverage our CVM engine, they all just work together, right? So at times it's just aligning a lot of that. And within like 2 months of launching our loyalty program, we had something like 24 million opt-ins. 80 million opt-ins out of a 24 million base. So it just goes to show, right? You can actually leverage a lot of your assets in terms of what you have, but it's that cohesion, being really targeted, really knowing your customer segments, saying the right things, messaging, all of that, right? So at times it just becomes, basics and hygiene factors there. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you so much. Mustafa, I'm trying to summarize a few questions for you, but essentially, how do you help improve predictability over the 5G network? Especially for these critical slices like healthcare, et cetera, that becomes quite important. Dubai and Do Telecom specifically has done a lot in that regard. So do you have any comments on how we can improve predictability of the network to enhance usability?
Thank you for the question. Actually, that we need to understand that especially in the indoor network, that not everything is the infrastructure is due. So actually we have infrastructure also depends on the competitor and vice versa. But you know that because Do just launched it 15 years back. So we are talking here about the geographical coverage that the competitor is covered. And we are trying actually to do a lot of deals and technology enhancement in order to enhance the speed and the usage of the customer and enhance the customer experience and complaint. But if we are talking here only about the 5G part, so especially that it will be at extra cost for the sake of the quality and the speed boosters and the services that will be used. It's not a normal data usage for the use cases that will be used for gaming and for other things. So for sure, no one will accept that the same quality constraints that we have as of now will be after introducing the 5G SLA. So just to give the confidence to everyone that there is a big investment in enhancing the network in all the area that we received a complaint, and we have a team working on this based on the building, based on the towers of the network, based on the complaints. There is a big team operationally working on this, and there is a big investment to enhance this in order that when we reach to the 5G SA and when we offer this at extra cost to be able to monetize actually the revenue for this one, because there is no point to offer something while even the customer doesn't have a trust that this will work with them, or even the core service itself is not working for them as it should be.
Right.
So no worries with 5G SA, everything will be improved and the customer can try it. And even we can introduce try and buy for this one before the customer buy the new bundle of 5G SA in order to make sure that there is an improvement or no. Should I go for it or no?
Absolutely. To Alain, I'd like to ask, you know, the methodology is definitely, you know, coexistence, right? So what are the markets of coexistence that you see for digital experiences on the metaverse? What areas and regions are you looking at across the globe to quickly enable these 5G ready use cases?
I think the question is self-explanatory in that sense. The metaverse heavily relies on you know, VR and AR experiences, and these are high bandwidth experiences. The developers for those experiences are in known developed markets as well, and the adoption will highly depend on essentially the markets that are making advancements in 5G. In the context of the Middle East and Africa, the Gulf countries are above the global average. We do expect an uptick in those experiences there. But more broadly, Middle East and Africa is a region of youth, and we do expect a leapfrogging phenomenon. So the demand for these devices and the demand for the metaverse experiences will be on the rise. That's why we have a lot of focus on Middle East and Africa as a whole in that regard. Perfect.
That's great. And Shireen, I was just wondering, you know, what are the localization partnership models that TikTok would focus on to target specific regions, specific geographies, market dynamics, you know, to launch new services and do that product market fit testing on a quick sort of gestation period?
You know, TikTok is as close as possible to its customers. So we have offices in every region, in every main country that we need to operate in. So that's the first step of being closer to our customer and being local. We speak around 178 languages. We are very, very diverse. We champion diversity and inclusion. This is part of our main value at the company. So we definitely do all efforts to bring all local and customized experience. Again, I always say we are the tool. We are happy to work with our partners in order to customize the service and the product that you are thinking is the best for the users. So that's our continuous effort in this scale.
That's great. Thank you so much. Lamre and Tulsido, I want to ask you the same question. In a partnership model where you're integrating with similar kinds of partners across an industry segment, right? This race to the bottom pricing, quickly starts to happen, where you have similar partners trying to compete to give the lowest value and maybe not the best experience. So how do you stop? I mean, especially to Lucindo, since you've integrated or partnered with a whole host of insurance companies recently, how do you ensure that the right pricing gets to the market through these partnership enablements?
Yeah, so I think the idea basically is not really to control the price, because what we're trying to do is to create a marketplace whereby we're bringing the partners together and let them decide, because the price will always be decided by the customer, by the users. So our approach is, because we are not, insurance is not a core business. So what we're trying to do is put a platform up there and bring the partners on board, of course, with an arrangement in terms of rev share, how much is it for us, and we provide the platform capability, and of course we agree the other basic things for the business, but we let them decide. And I think for majority of the business, for example, insurance, the prices are regulated by the government, and of course for us also having another partnership with bank to offer micro lending products to the customers. And again, in that regard, the same approach as a marketplace, bringing the partners together for them to decide what kind of interest rate are going to apply. Between us and the partners, we agree the rev share, but they decide what kind of interest rate need to be applied. Of course, they follow the country regulations around pricing of different products.
Perfect. That's a helpful insight. Lamre, would you like to respond to that question and give any concluding remarks on the session as well?
Okay, so thank you very much again, Priyanka. So we talk about things like embedded finance, fintech, big tech, and banking as a service for financial institution with fintech offering to intermediate banking as a service. And just to cut on your question, how do you manage pricing? Pricing lately has been a question, because if you look at the OTT, their pricing is not most of the time regulated. How much do they charge for advertisement on Facebook or on TikTok? However, if you go to the regional, in terms of banking, insurance, and the rest of them, they are regulated. So you can just wake up as a bank and decide to charge X amount of money. But the good thing that was mentioned, I think, by one of the audience is that TikTok, for example, is in all the countries. So what that means, they can do a lot around localization. And then once they do localization, that means they can look at the pricing that is being regulated and see whether they can conform with that kind of pricing. But however, initially the OTT just wake up in the morning and decide that this was going with the price. So that might be difficult if you want to do some level of engagement with the OTT. But with them being localized now, that means they can actually understand how this can come together from a local perspective. Another thing that we think of is tech monetization around B2B, B2C, and B2B and B2C. B2B, that's the use of wallet. I think that has always been something that is coming up and will continue to grow. And as we move into the tech world, again, going back to pricing, technology is becoming cheaper by the day. Apart from the fact that a lot of money is spent on R&D, once the technology is out there, it's becoming cheaper by the day. So pricing, customers will continue to get good pricing for some of this thing, and as OTT also make it competitive. Because, for example, you see banking sometimes they charge a particular amount of money, but OTT will make you can do the same transaction using an OTT, and it will cost you a lot less. So there's a lot of price war and price competition, and the customers are the ones to gain from it up. And you also said I should wrap it up, and I think it's been a very good discussion. 5G is here to stay. For those who are still skeptical about it, I think it's something we need to embrace. And I look at the way companies like Apple embraced 3G. As soon as it came in, Apple was already ready for it. So we are looking at the company that will take over as a 5G. Because thank you very much. It was a very, it was a good session. Nice meeting you all. And I would like us to do this again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Awad. Thanks, Lamre, Priya, Alain, Shireen, Tolisindo, and of course, Mustafa. Thank you all for participating in our event. If you have any specific questions that we can share with you offline, please write to us at moments@technotree.com and visit us on technotree.com/moments. We're happy to share our marketplace with you and help you experience the content, the live content that we have in our partner ecosystem. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Have a good week.